All right, so since something is happening this evening, Nick, why don't you go ahead and make another spot hidden roll?
Sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you should put the bag down.
57 fails against 50.
All right. The bag lady looks like she's planning to leave.
Okay, for any particular reason?
Nope.
Or just like she's grabbing her things?
Yeah, she's like just kind of like shuffling and then kind of like gathering up her stuff, and she's getting up and it looks like she's about to leave the ER.
Okay, well, I'm going to let her leave and then tail her from a significant distance.
All right. So here's the question. How long after she shuffles out do you go out after her? Because if you need to wait a significant distance, because so just to give you a quick idea, the ER doors of the hospital lead out to sort of like a driveway that's like about half a block from the main street. So you have to like walk down this whole long lengthy thing. So if you want to,
I want her to get like halfway down that thing.
Okay, so
what I think would
You need to
take
give her like a full minute.
All right.
Mhm.
So, do you stay inside and wait till she's been gone a minute before you go outside, or do you get out? All right. You wait a full minute, and by the time you get outside, she's gone.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Like, that's how you do it.
She shuffles out super, super slow, but by the time you get out there where you think, okay, if she's moving at that pace, she'll only be like halfway down the ramp, she's just gone. All right. So, the next day, presuming that nobody wants to go out and do anything super cool, like stop at the bars before they close, or
Fight crime.
fight crime, go out for like cap a pizza delivered to Reagan's. Like, you can't have pizza delivered here, by the way.
I will.
Can or cannot?
Cannot. You're in the part of the library that they can't get to.
I will spend the evening scribbling down this event in my notebook and going back over all of the information I have stored in my files on my computer and along my library, my home's like library wall over these.
Ooh, do you have a
events.
red string wall?
I don't.
Ooh.
I'm not to that point yet. But a couple more incidents and I'll get there. It's not. I'm not that organized yet. It's mostly done on the computer. But yes, I'm getting there.
Okay, in that case, did you also take like a ton of library research?
No, but I have been researching ever since Iraq. I've been researching this specific phenomenon.
Okay, in that case, do your what's the skill that you took to reflect your research ability?
I mean, I didn't really. I never really thought this would come up that much, so I didn't.
Would it be a cult?
No, it wouldn't be a cult.
I mean,
Would it be?
you could do a knowledge roll.
Yeah, no would probably be what it would relate to.
Okay,
That's like the general bits and bobs.
Yeah,
Because I don't have my library uses it 25%. Like that kind of makes sense in a way if it's a 25% because it's just literally the only thing I've been looking at.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and just make a no roll?
Okay.
And try to do much better than just basically your like 60 or 70 or whatever you have there.
Cool. Let's see what we do. I mean, do you want me to make like an int times something roll or?
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine. Okay, here we go. Nope. 96.
Unfortunate.
That's fine. I mean, I'm used to the mystery staying hidden from me.
All right.
Yeah.
So one of the key things that you guys have, or actually, I don't know how this works because you don't have to. Miles is not connected to any of the other people in the group at this point, except for actually having a passing knowledge of Gene, right?
Yeah, but if there was something going on, I would probably find out about it quickly.
Yes.
And
so one thing that you do find that is not related to trying to crack through this particular terminal's defenses, but just getting to this point, is this was all triggered because there was this weird drug thing going on. And because of that, you've been digging into all these drug deaths.
yeah, paying a lot of attention to knowledge-based stuff.
And so one of the key things that's very interesting is that most of the time, drug-related deaths are like these routine things. They get written off in police records. They're a blip on the record. Nobody cares, right? There's another drug overdose case. It shows up as a number on a file. And, you know, if the cop was conscientious, he might write a few details about the person. That's pretty routine. This particular case, however, all the drug deaths that are related to this new drug seem to be routine only in the sense that people have gone out of their way to make it look like they're routine. Like when you check files, you can see that they've been accessed or downloaded significantly more times than any routine drug case would be. Like there would be a case that looks like it's just another one of those, overdose found, kid in the alley, something like that. Normally you see a case like this,
Right.
the file is accessed 2 or 3 times at most for record keeping purposes, and no one ever looks at it again.
Yeah, right once, read never.
Yeah. Every one of these other cases, not only do they look like they've been looked at least 2 or 3 dozen times, but have been downloaded multiple times from ISPs that you cannot track. Like people have gone in, extracted these files, copied them, and then they've disappeared into the dark web in ways
I can see the footprints of it.
Yes, you can tell that people are looking at these files, and when you start putting them together, they are very clearly all related to this new drug, and it seems like that from what you can tell, they are leaving out tons of details that someone is purposely not reflecting unique circumstances to these deaths that would actually be meaningful as opposed to the usual routine ones where it's like, needle and arm overdose.
You gotta find the connections.
This is...
And by the way,
okay.
the only one of these records that is still extant and open is the one for his son, because he's the only one who is actually still alive.
Oh, the only one who's still alive.
All the other OD cases, the patients have died.
Okay.
So wait, I'm sorry. Why is your character interested in this?
It's just so my character has decided that he's into like fighting the power and like bringing down people who use the power for bad.
He's a hacktivist.
Yeah, he's sort of a hacktivist.
Gotcha.
I think he was a hacktivist. Now he's sort of a anarchist.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
He's really just in it for himself. I don't know.
There's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like I feel like he might have cared at one point, but now it's just more for the excitement of just messing around.
Right. Well, so now I've like uncovered this mystery, and the nerd brain has kicked in, and I can't let it drop. Like I have to solve the problem.
Right. Okay.
I also suspect that you're one of those kids who like has a surprising amount of illegal Bitcoin or something like that. And,
well, so I just like
you have stuff that no kid your age should have.
Yeah, an early investor in Bitcoin.
Well, so I just like mined a few hundred of them back when it was easy.
Yeah.
And I just got a nice fat bank account. It wasn't in Mount Gox.
It's too bad that the Silk Road's not up anymore. Else you could just buy some spray and then. Yeah.
Silk Road too. Oh yeah, you could get in on the ground floor and try it yourself and see what's up.
Well, I wouldn't try it. I don't know if I'd encourage that.
Or not try it, but you can try to meet up with a dealer.
Yeah, learn more about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that might work.
That's right. Plus,
well, and so would I be able to like find the connection that it like used to be this pharmaceutical, or is that way under the rug?
You'd have to like know.
No one actually knows.
Yeah.
Only his chemistry background led him to the link.
So
Right?
it was two things. I found out the connection because I analyzed the drug itself, and then I went back to Altered Solutions and found that it was broken into. And Altered Solutions was like, "No, we are not admitting that it was stolen.
Yeah,
it's drop it, Kyle."
Yeah,
That's kind of the thing.
And you haven't put out the word on any sort of
No, because I'm embarrassed. It's my drug on the streets.
and that's one of the key
my baby
mysteries
boy.
is that almost every time you've ever seen info on drugs on the web, it's always about like, it's coming from the Philippines. It's got this new thing. They've been cutting it with this. The thing that really drew your attention is that nobody seems to know what this drug is or where it came from. Like normally stuff like this is all over the place. Like people want to know, right? This is from the new Vancouver syndicate. This is the new best E that you can get in the Pacific Northwest. All that stuff is generally right out there, and they want you to know because it's good for business.
Yeah.
It's good for making sure the competition doesn't try to hone in on your action. This is super unusual. Who creates a new drug to try to get out on the street and then and doesn't try to sell and doesn't take credit? Like it
And if
seems
it's putting people in comas, like that's not a good way to make money.
Yeah,
No.
like there's a drug out there that seems like nobody's actually selling it, and nobody seems to know where it's coming from. But more and more people are getting their hands on it.
So can I get a feeling for like what the effects are? What it does to you other than kill you?
That's just it. This is the key: is that the records are made to look routine. Like there are symptoms and effects that they are purposely trying to hide and keep from anyone who has that information. Like if anyone has seen these records and know what it is, they are not in the record.
Well, maybe I need
Is there a weird
to.
word about your character? Because it's pretty specific. This
Um,
guy's looking for the spray.
well, I mean, you probably heard of Catalyst.
Yeah,
Yes.
I probably heard.
Or
Lots
the
of people
guy
have heard of
with the
Catalyst.
sword.
I probably haven't made the connection that you.
Yeah.
Like that. Catalyst
He's
is the
not
father
all
of this
that
kid.
subtle.
There's a vigilante message board that you're not in on because you don't get in on this stuff. But there's a bunch of people, like, there's even talk, like, in Seattle, where it's like, oh, there's a weird vigilante in Chicago who carries
You're
a
a
saber.
dad. You don't use messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk, and, like, people are really on the fence. There are some people think that this is, like, the next great thing. Because right now, it's been, like, Phoenix Jones type people, right? They
Yeah.
go out in the street, they challenge people to fist fights and stuff like that. It's
Take
all very
photos.
hilarious.
Mhm.
Like, there are some people who are saying that you're now the real deal and that this is what they need to do, and some people are rallying around your cause that it's high time that the vigilantes actually took real action instead of just going out there and, like, having fist fights in weird costumes.
And it's known that he's working against the drug specifically, right?
Yes.
Taking down
You're
drug
attacking
This is his
this
agenda.
specific
Yeah.
drug. Very
Uh,
vicious
sometimes I'll beat down a drug dealer, and in their spot, I'll just spray paint. Where's the spray?
People get really confused.
It's more of a mythology than a
Yeah.
fact. Like, you are, like, just trying to track down how this drug is getting into the streets, but on the message boards, people are like, oh my gosh, he's taking down dealers, like, I heard that he cut down so-and-so, like,
Yeah.
he's cleaned
Yeah,
up
the-
all of the south side. Like,
Yeah.
there's a mythology that is
Yeah,
bigger than
the-
what you've done.
The stories have kind of expanded.
Yeah.
what I'm
You
have
saying?
no
Like-
idea that anybody
like,
even
I was
knows.
gonna get mugged until Catalyst arrived.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
with
and,
his
and a lot
sword.
of like my hits have been credited to him because I don't take any credit.
Yeah, like there's tons of arguments. Like, it's
You
not,
take
oh,
credit
he
in
only
your
uses
heart.
sabers. Like, but that guy was shot in the head. It's like,
Yeah,
Catalyst had a
So
gun.
okay, so maybe I'm thinking. That
Yeah,
I
does
get-
Catalyst have a gun?
Wait, but do you like
That's
make
the
use of this? Do you like
big-
stab
the
your
big
victims a couple of times to hand it out? Okay.
No.
Stab it.
Tap, tap, get out.
Nick's,
All right.
Tap,
Nick's
tap,
about,
walk.
Nick's about getting the job done. I like to have a little bit more art to it.
Right. Okay.
It's historical fencing society.
Catalyst
It's
is
about
so good with
having-
a sword, it
Yeah.
looks like a bullet wound.
Yeah, that will be after Cthulhu gets you on the team.
Okay, so
I'm
I'm
so good
starting
with a
to
bullet.
think-
They look like swords.
I got two leads here, right? I gotta look.
Sword
I gotta
gun.
like find out more about this
Yeah.
kid. Maybe go talk to his doctors or something like that. And I gotta find this Catalyst dude.
Yes. So if you want to find Catalyst, he is both super hard and super easy to find. The super hard part is that nobody seems to know where he is. He randomly shows up for no reason in places that make no sense. Like, one day he'll be like on the north side by Wrigleyville, another day he'll be on the south side, some other day he's like in Chinatown. It's like, it seems like he's just randomly showing up places, like, without any particular rhyme or reason about why. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a pattern.
Okay.
Nobody seems to know who he really is, whereas, like, a lot of the actual urban superheroes, you get online, you go,
Yeah.
oh, he's actually so-and-so. And this person seems like he just appeared out of nowhere one day. You haven't really been able to, like, put together the pieces to figure
So
out
there's
what
no
it is.
I can't run it through a tracking program and find a pattern.
How long
to
have you
it.
been Catalyst?
Let's say 6 months.
Because I think I've been going on like a year.
Yeah. So if you do know, however, that he's pretty much the only person with a sword, and he's cut up some people, and a few of them have died. So, but
Shit, I have killed people.
you don't know that. You think that none of your victims have died. You're
Yeah.
convinced that you just, like, kind of, like, scared them and stuff like that.
all of
Just a flesh
everyone
wound.
here,
Yeah.
everyone here is just like, oh yeah, I am a murderer.
It's gonna turn
Okay.
out that you're the greatest murderer of all of us.
So all
Your
So
ideology.
So make a spot hidden check.
okay.
your husband is. The
So there is 25 under 50.
All right.
Check.
You run your algorithm, and because your computer science
You-
abilities are so good, something that you weren't super aware of before, but that your algorithms are able to determine for you, is that Catalyst appeared almost at around exactly the same time as the kid fell into the coma that you were paying attention to.
Oh man,
There's a connection there.
the implications.
Maybe not though. It could just be a coincidence.
It could just be a coincidence. And you probably wouldn't even have noticed it if it wasn't for both the algorithm and the fact that you already were paying attention to this kid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You do find out very easily to his Northwestern Hospital, how long he's been there, who his
Right.
doctor is. Those records are pretty easy. for
Okay,
you to
so
access.
maybe that's the direction to go then. That's the easier lead to follow. And I don't know, we'll see. Like weekday nights, I'll go out for some recreational drone flying and see if I can't find this Catalyst fellow. But like it's a bit of a long shot.
So is Saturday. Do you work Saturdays? And do you work Saturdays? Do you have one of those weird shifts where you have to work weekends?
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
don't.
you're going to have to be at the prison today.
Yeah.
I actually don't
Cups have weird
know
shifts,
if I
too.
work Saturdays. I was actually going to ask if. So,
Yeah, I'm
is
off
this
on
one of those
Mondays.
situations where he found all this info and he still
That's weird.
stayed there the whole night, or did he
No, I think
maybe
I would've-
leave early?
I would have like gone home probably like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So he's not actually there when you show up, if you show up on Saturdays.
So
Saturdays,
what I
you
meant,
might have weekends
yeah.
off.
I'll leave you a note.
It's up to you.
Later.
You're salaried.
This
You are
person
expected to
being
work
with
5
us.
work days. The library has truncated hours on weekends, so if you do work weekends, it's more disadvantageous in terms of like having hours of the workday, but also you actually have fewer work hours.
Yeah.
Your position is high level enough that they basically trust you to get the work done.
I would maybe work Saturdays. Basically, the only reason why I brought it up, I was like, oh, if there's some moment that I can catch him at the library but not at the computer, I would talk to him,
Okay.
but he's not there.
So we could say that I like instead of calling it a
Well,
night at
you
3 in
just-
the morning, I call it a night at 7 in the morning.
So far, he's
You-
never been there not on the computer.
Wait, so you like leave at like a time where I get there, maybe?
Yeah, like I'm on my way out while you're on the way in.
Ooh,
That sounds like a good scene.
Yeah.
Oh. we can do that.
The
That'd be-
early morning haze.
I
I mean, you
mean,
both are like, who's this
if you
guy?
want to do that, then that's fine. I'm just
Is that-
trying.
You
I'm like,
could
I was
perp- because you're interested, you could purposely come back to work early in the morning because you're specifically looking. Because you've been curious. It's like, what's this kid doing here? He seems to work overnight and do all this weird stuff. You might purposely come to work earlier than you normally would have just to see what's going on.
yeah, I think I probably would do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because I would want to catch you at a time that obviously I'm not going to go in the little terminal computer thing while he's, especially because I don't really have access in there anyway. I would probably try to catch him like either walking in or out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get there like early enough where you can still see that the light is on and someone's still working in there.
Yeah.
Then you just wait outside of your like bagel or something. It's like, this guy come out eventually.
Okay. So I come out like the sun. What time of year is it? Is it?
It's
like,
fall.
right now. Okay,
Yes.
it's fall.
Nice.
So like the sun is coming up, and I like sort of stumble out of the building in my cargo shorts and like greasy, sweaty shirts, reeking of Rockstar, and
Even grosser than normal.
yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm reluctant to go up to him, but I make my way over there. But, hey kid, what are you doing there all day? I see you here like 7 days a week.
It's a research project.
Well, I'm just asking because you gotta be up to something special to have that kind of access. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Are you a genius? Like what is your what's your major?
Yeah, I'm in the computer science program. I'm doing a special project. I'm not really supposed to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, forget I asked about it. But I just see you here all the time, and it's 7 in the morning on a Saturday. So, I mean, most kids your age are sleeping in. So,
Well, I mean, that's what I'm gonna go do is sleep in for a long time.
oh well.
But I
Okay, well, I'm sorry I bothered you. If you ever need anything from the library, my name is Gene.
Gene, I'm Miles.
Yeah. If you ever need anything, I know this place pretty well. I'm pretty new, but I know the layout well. So,
All right. Well, thanks, Gene. I might take you up on that.
and what's your name?
I'm Miles.
Miles. Okay. Well, get some rest, kid. Go home. What are you doing?
Yeah, all right. All right.
All right.
Right. Miles walks off.
I wish he had told me more. Oh well.
These kids, they don't respect an older generation.
They don't respect
Well, at least-
library
Should I be more
science.
snarky?
At least I know.
Yeah.
At least I know his name. I know his major. I
So
know-
that was all you just trying to make a connection. You actually have a lot of information on him because he had to give you paperwork in order to get access.
Yeah, but I
So-
don't know anything about this special project.
No, that you don't
Yeah.
know. Like, he was just able to present enough credentials
It's
to
also-
have you let him into the room.
It's fascinating to me that he says that he has a special project that he can't talk about, but he's like a 21-year-old computer science major,
Do you not
and
have...
I basically I don't know.
No, he like did not cover himself at all there.
Yeah, but
Do you not have access to like the internet history and previously accessed?
Not on these
Yes.
machines.
Not on these
yeah.
machines?
no,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
I don't know how much
Because
that's
he
regulated.
doesn't have the authorization level to use them.
Yeah,
Ah.
my position in the library is as a cataloger.
Okay.
Well, and honestly, you look at
The-
my
the Dewey
internet
Decimal
history, and it's
System.
just pictures of cats for hours and hours.
And you don't actually...
Dewey Decimal System.
So yeah, you've
Okay.
done your
So new-
research.
new
so
pro- yeah,
not
well,
only do you know tons about Gene, but you probably know almost everything that's publicly available about John Cordivall. Like, you know he was a kid, you know his dad works in the pharmaceutical industry, you know which high school he went to, who his buddies were, when he was checked in, what his current status is. His parents are divorced. All that stuff.
and he lived with his dad, or
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's
Well,
in a coma.
Yeah.
The,
So
divor-
before.
the divorce happened after the coma.
Oh,
Yeah. Alexa couldn't handle it anymore. 'Cause I was so sad. I was.
It's a cool name. It's a really cool.
There were
name.
too many
Alexa,
nights where he
order me
wasn't even there
10,000
at the
ping pong
hospital.
balls. Alexa, confirm order.
Why
Oh
was
my
I
gosh, that'd be
created-
terrible
That's
if
how
we
he
had one of
talked
those
to his
here.
wife.
Why was I created
That's why
for this
she
purpose?
actually divorced him. That was the real.
It'd be hilarious if like Peter
Yeah.
said Alexa couldn't take it anymore, and then the Alexa turned on and says, "I can't even."
Okay.
Alexa, where's the spray?
Where's the
Ordering 10,000 cans of
Someone
spray.
shows up at the door. It's like, "Did you order the spray?" It's like a case of ocean spray from Amazon Fresh.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
It's already expired.
I wanted to buy one on Prime Night just to try it, see what weird things I can get to do. All right, so you work Saturdays, so you have to go to work in the morning,
Yes.
super early. Your job sucks, because basically you are are you like just a guard, or do you actually have like a slightly higher position?
I think I did.
So the first
what would be
question-
a slightly higher position, because if I'm just a guard, I would just be patrolling and making sure that everybody gets where they're supposed to be
Okay,
at the
so
time.
so you weren't like demoted because they just kind of like found a way to like shift you laterally to another job.
Yes,
That wasn't
because
great.
they didn't want me with their job. They were like, no.
Okay, so you're probably like maybe one step away from the warden's job. You're probably like a section leader or something like that.
Yeah.
Something in administration.
Something where everybody hates me.
Okay, that's administration.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
what is
Yeah,
it?
and that would be great for getting the names too, right?
Yes.
HR.
HR. That's what I was.
Oh,
Man, human
Prison
resources for a
HR.
penitentiary. That's a trip.
Oh, you know what?
Fucking Toby.
What about a prison counselor?
No, sergeant in charge of intake,
Oh, okay.
because that gives you a lot of access to information and data. It also
You can
puts
see
you in a
like why they're
position.
in there, how
Yeah.
long they're there.
It also puts you in a
You can look at
position
it,
of
John.
giving assignments, which means that you know how every prison has kind of like this guard infrastructure where they're kind of in on how things work, and they can intimidate prisoners by saying that I'm going to move you to solitary, or I'm going to give you this posh room with this person you want, and they trade like favors on the outside and stuff like that. Because you're the intake person, you're kind of in charge of that process, and because you're not really keen on letting the guards get away with certain things, it makes you more hated. Like the guards go, "Oh, I'm gonna move you to solitary." It's like, that's not right.
No.
That's not happening.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm presuming that's who you are. You could be
Yes.
totally on the other side of it and like have the prison fight club ring where you're making just tens of thousands.
Ooh, sweet.
Now, my question is, does your sense of justice extend to all prisoners or just the prisoners you feel aren't guilty? Like, do you stick up for all the prisoners when these guards try to mess with them, or you just stick up for...
Or none of them.
Oh, so it is dependent on who is actually a shithead.
I don't know if
and
that's
who's not.
I don't know if that's how that actually works, but I'm just curious.
It's
Might
her
give some
call.
interesting character
Yeah.
stuff.
I would definitely say I'm a bit of a dumbhead when it comes to people, because I obviously didn't get that they didn't like me being such a goody two shoes in the police ring. So I feel like everybody gets equal treatment.
Okay.
Everybody gets equal treatment.
Okay.
Yes.
But is it equally treated bad or equally treated what?
Oh.
That's what we were getting at.
Oh, by the book. Exactly.
Okay,
by
okay,
the
okay.
book.
Okay.
So you're what my goddaughters would call a hard butt.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah. So,
Very cute.
Send you to the
Because they can't say the bad word.
no, it was so hilarious. They said, "My daddy is a hard butt and mommy is a softie." And sometimes James is daddy and sometimes James is a mommy. That was like when they were really young. We're like, oh, if you only knew how true that was.
That's very cute.
It was adorable. All right, so as a hard butt of the in the penitentiary, I'm guessing you're pretty unpopular both with the staff and the prisoners.
Yeah, there's not really a person there that likes me.
Are you also the only female in the staff?
There's like a couple, but
Okay.
as far as like
But they
the
don't like you
ratio
either.
to male to female is
Okay.
definitely there's more.
Do you know Hale by name? Like, are you actually acquainted with each other? Do you know him by name, or is he just a mysterious figure that you drop information off for?
That we need to figure out because it would be best if we figure out if we met in the police force.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It would make sense if you, because why would you be giving that information to somebody that you like
Don't
only
even
kind
know.
of pass?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Surprise.
See, the thing is that it's also entirely possible that they have met in the force, and so they know of each other. But because Hale could reach out knowing who she was, he could hide his identity, but
Yeah.
tell her enough to know that he's an
And
insider.
you probably knew that I got kicked out of the police force.
So it's sort of up to you whether or not
Okay,
you want her
okay.
to know who you are.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't, because
if
it
you-
makes doing what I do easier.
Okay, so he has basically been able to give you
Is
enough
this-
information.
Is this just gonna be Cardiff again, where it's like everyone knows everyone, but Nick knows no one?
Oh, Nick will find us.
Oh yeah, we passed notes.
He'll find
That
us
will just be
somehow.
like a thing. You
'Cause-
could probably. Well, he probably knows like about me because that's not a
Yes,
problem.
you are well known because not only you're a female cop, but you're a female cop with a reputation.
Yeah.
So your name in the Chicago Police Force is pretty well known. Anyone who cares to know, because he also works for the force,
Yeah,
he can reach out to you and say, "Hey, I can't tell you who I am, but here's some information that will let you know that number one, I'm on the inside, I work on the force, and I know what you do. I can help you with that."
Okay.
And maybe after he wins your trust the first time you put something out there, you can see that he does good work. And so
yeah. It's also to protect her to not have to
Yeah.
know what's happening to these people.
Oh,
just have a normal.
she doesn't know. Okay.
No, she knows that they're
Well, I
like
mean, she can read the paper.
dying, but
Right. But does she know that she's directly responsible for the death?
Oh yes,
Yes.
in fact,
Yeah.
No, you gotta.
I feel like she would
morning,
have to figure that out.
Yeah.
after you get
Yeah,
done with
you're
your
right, you're
work
right.
I'm
routine.
picking a
That
new
makes more
person.
sense.
Yeah, in fact, that morning after you
As we
get done
speak.
with your work routine, you check the information that's come in through the blotters from the night before,
Mhm.
and you immediately see that Eddie's dead.
It's like
Oh,
who's
okay,
in more
perfect.
denial, Nick
That's
or
also-
Amber?
Yeah.
That's also
The
why I'm such
answer?
a hard ass,
Both.
though.
Yeah.
Is because no one.
I don't
will
kill people, I
suspect
liberate
me.
them.
So you were
From their evil lives.
So
Yeah.
this is already a routine for you. You
Yes.
know that when the names go out, whoever this person is who reached out from you from the forest takes care of them.
Yes.
And it usually is almost always between 3 to 5 business days is taken care of.
Mhm.
Perfect. And there's not payment involved. There's just the sweet justice factor.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Whoever it is has never reached out for payment, has never given you any more information, has
Okay.
always just said, look,
Good, because I
here's how
probably
you
wouldn't
communicate
give
with
them any
me.
money.
This is the kind of information I want. I'm looking for the same things you're looking for. You give me a name, I'll take care of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
perfect.
in a way, you have sort of a secret House of Black and White assassin on your side. Like you can just give names,
Oh,
which
Yeah.
also
my
interestingly
God.
means that the names could
Yes.
be people that you have vetted or just people you don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Wow.
Like that
But
person
that's
cut me
like-
off this morning.
Murdered
Like
them.
his name in the book.
Like, that grocery clerk, like
I
10
think my
items.
main
Well, I mean,
focus is
I
weeding
don't
out
just
who's
blindly murder
legitimately-
people
Fucking
at the drop of a name.
If the information was fabricated well enough, though.
Fucking
Oh
death
my
note.
God.
Well, do you do much
Give me a couple
research?
more months to get to that
Yeah,
point.
so
all
I
right?
was
No,
like-
I mean, does Hale do much research, or have you come to trust her judgment?
I mean, I do research on my own, but like she knows more than me of what's going on in the
Okay.
prison, of what's going on in other departments that I don't
Yeah.
interact with on a regular basis.
So in general,
Chaotic evil.
you do some level of research, but if it looks generally okay, you trust her judgment.
It's lawful evil, but it's its own law.
I would argue that it's lawful neutral, but whatever.
Chaotic.
That's going
my,
so far.
It's chaotic
And
neutral
I do
at
focus on finding
best.
people who are legitimately
No,
not good.
lawful good.
So it's like
Chaotic good.
You're never tipping to the good side of the axiom.
and those people that are
Chaotic good.
So,
pro what is
so
it?
your day
Execution.
generally goes
Pro-execution.
pretty typically, and it seems like there's not a lot of interesting things going on.
Oh.
But that afternoon, with the afternoon paperwork, you're just going through the files, and there's a bunch of like people who are just coming through, and it's the usual thing. It's like, oh, these people are being transferred out, these people are transferred in. Here are the new arrivals that are coming in. Here's what to get ready. We need X number of beds. Blah blah blah. And you see that there's a file for a guy named. Okay, so basically, you come across a file for a fellow named Bobby Moore, and it piques your attention because Bobby has not come upon your radar before, but apparently he is a spray dealer, and this is super interesting because it's awfully specific, and you've been hearing enough to know that nobody seems to know how spray gets on the streets or who is getting it out there. And to have someone listed as a spray dealer is super crazy because
This is very
spray dealers
specific
don't
thing.
actually exist.
See, like this guy is a spray dealer.
Yeah,
that's
like-
weird.
Oh.
Like, it's actually in the file, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
No.
first of all, if there was a spray dealer and people knew about him, there'd be tons of information. He probably wouldn't just be sent to prison. But this is a file, and it says, oh, he's probably coming in, like, either later today or tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And then so I'm in charge of his part of his arrival and everyone's arrival, so I'm going to mark when he arrives and investigate further on when he
So,
gets here.
so the information is not clear about when he's arriving because
Oh.
there's a whole like infrastructure on the police side
Oh.
where they have to do paperwork, and depending on like how the judge
That's
rules and blah blah
weird.
blah, they could be kept overnight in the holding area, and so he doesn't come to you until they're done with that side.
Mhm.
But you get this heads up that says, oh, here's a person in the system right now. He's probably going to come later today before your shift is over,
Oh.
or it's going to be like tomorrow.
Okay.
But you're not entirely sure. You also know that Sunday arrivals are weird and rare. So if he does arrive tomorrow, it's going to be unusual, and he's going to be probably a solo.
Okay. Is there anything like any more information on the page as far as his personal information?
Sure. The most interesting thing about him is that he's like a 40-year-old white dude, like bald, mustache. Like he seems like the kind of person that looks like a regular suburban guy, as opposed to like a hardened street tough or like someone who would be involved in a gang thing. And usually, if you're a 40-year-old white dude from the suburbs, you're either a gang boss or you're like a user. Like you don't end up as a dealer who like gets arrested and put into prison. At least that's not normally how these things work.
And this is first time in?
Yes, there's no record of him in the system. First arrest.
Okay. Super. Perfect. Okay.
So for you, this seems odd.
like-
Like you
Yeah, no,
generally
this is
there's a
genuinely
little
weird.
bit of your sense that this is unusual enough that either something has gone wrong with the system, and that whatever this drug is about has a whole different distributional infrastructure than you've ever seen before, or this guy's being framed.
Can I see who the officer in charge of arrest was?
Yes.
Ooh. Ooh.
The spicy details.
Do you? Oh, you just have regular record keeping things.
I have time, so.
Time for a little waterboarding. No.
Time to send.
I'm game. Yeah.
Time to send Hale out on a mission.
It doesn't work. They'll tell you whatever they want to hear.
The board is your fist.
You punch him a couple times, you throw some water.
Color me this.
You throw some water.
I'll have you see in colors.
Some black and blue.
I got your color spray right here.
Spray some red.
The arresting officer was Patricia Clark,
Okay.
12-year veteran
Okay.
from the 2nd District.
Not a fan of that district.
It's never the good district.
The 2nd District is kind of a middle class, like typical like family neighborhood.
Okay. And where was so the location was in the 2nd district where
Yeah.
the arrest took place
Yep.
for possession or dealing?
Dealing. It says that he's a dealer.
Okay.
Someone just dropped off a case of
He's
it at
just
his
like,
house, and he's
"Hey,
like
you wanna buy
going
this?"
door to door.
No, it's like Amway. Amway came by and he didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
It was Alexa.
It was Alexa. Yeah.
Yeah, Alexa accidentally ordered a bunch of color sprays for him.
He was actually trying to get hair coloring.
Oh yeah.
Clearly.
Oh, darn
He's-
Alexa.
He's trying to get color.
Alexa, that
He's
black
trying to get
market
hairspray.
dealing.
Yeah.
He was
Stop.
he was just making a D&D character, and he, while listing out the spells, he yelled out, "I need color spray." Of course.
It's like
And that's when Alexa ordered it for him.
Ordering 30
So
kilos.
is color spray a spray or is it like a
I was
pill?
picturing it as like an
Spray it
inhaler.
into the nose.
Yeah.
It's an,
Okay.
oh fuck.
Yeah, and then you experience euphoria and you see colors.
Oh my god.
Alexa, do you work for the CIA?
It doesn't say how much he had in possession
No.
or where it was held.
yeah, those kinds of details don't show up in the
I'm
files.
sorry, John.
There will be probably stuff like that in the arresting record
I
and
can't
stuff like
let
that.
you do
But for your role, they don't send those files through.
Mm.
They only give you enough information to put them in and just enough on the person.
Mm.
So all that evidentiary stuff stays in the police file in the precincts.
And as far as Patricia Clark won't be the one transferring him to the
No,
penitentiary.
she's done with it.
Okay.
She only will show up if this goes to court and they need testimony.
Oh.
Like she's just backing up.
Cool. Can I look her up and
Yep.
see kind of where she's at as far as like, I don't know, veteran 2nd year district.
She's a good lady.
What her
She's been
usual
12 years on the
patrols?
force. She's received 2 commendations.
Okay.
She's been promoted like 3 times.
She's put together.
I mean, necessarily good in my book at this point.
Like she's basically one step away from like passing the sergeant's exam and getting promoted.
What are
So-
her past arrests like? Have they all been for just normal things?
It looks
or-
super routine. I mean, she's had like 2 like shooting filings where she had to file a report. So she rarely pulls her weapon. She's basically fundamentally a pretty typical in the early days, she was kind of famous for being like the cop of the people. Like she had that whole, oh, I have small children myself, so I understand the plight of the young man in the streets and stuff like that. And she would volunteer for those things where she shows up at schools and says, hi, I'm officer friendly because I'm a woman and not scary and all that sort of thing.
Aha.
So yeah, she has a fairly typical like, oh, I'm sort of more of the face of the force type of thing because I'm decent looking good cop. You know, I haven't shot any unarmed black man and I'm not a scary, like brutish kind of person. And sometimes she'll get to go to like those Starbucks meet and greets where it's like, meet your neighborhood cop type of thing.
Gonna
She's
see if any of those are happening.
Not recently. In
Okay.
the last few years, she's been like more serious and like focusing on her career.
Oh.
And she's also older, and her kids are older now, and so she's more involved in like serious back office things. And she looks like she is seriously working towards advancement. So it looks like she's like making some right connections, doing some more serious work. She's probably, although the record doesn't show it, you can kind of tell from the background that she's probably studying for her sergeant's exam and it's getting close to that. She's got some recommendations in her file.
I think that's all the information.
She's
I
the one
need.
that hands out stickers at the block party.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Well, she was before she got more serious. Yeah, she was that person. But she's also clearly like moving in that position where she's trying to look more tough and serious, so that she can get to that role where she can be promoted.
Well, you could be a little sergeant too.
Hey there, fellow kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like in the early days, her kids were small, and so they would come to the block parties a lot. It's like, oh, these are my kids. Look, they're wearing little stickers. They're so cute. But now her kids are like young teens. It's like, okay, that time is done.
And they
Does
brood.
Bobby Moore have any
And
family?
they don't
Hmm?
like.
Does Bobby Moore have family?
Bobby Moore used to have family. He's divorced. He lives by himself now.
Bobby Moore.
It's Bobby Lass.
Bobby Les. Perfect.
But less is more.
Yeah. Sorry. I apologize. Paradox.
Shame.
Y'all are the worst. No, it's okay. Okay, so
And you only know he's divorced. Like, there's not enough information in the file to give you more.
who,
data.
like, I'm gonna run like a full background check on Bobby Moore. That
You
would
could
look
request that, but it
suspicious.
wouldn't be just in the file.
It would look suspicious. Okay. And then there's nothing else for that day. There's not any like people being let go or. Released.
Yes, there are. Every day, there's like some people going out and people coming in. Like, there's almost always some turnover on a regular basis, but none others that seem particularly like, oh, this person's time has just come. There's no like surprising. It's like, oh, look, the Kingpin is being released today. It's like,
Yes.
oh, again.
Assassinate that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
If it was, that would be amazing. It's like, you have to take out the Kingpin.
But the only proof is that he goes by Kingpin.
I know, right? It's like, boy, I really
Is that
should
enough?
have chosen a different king name.
That's it. Tax evasion. Jeez.
How dare he cheat the American people?
I know.
All
Okay.
right.
This city a road.
So time.
So with that-
time is passed.
Or
I'm
community
assuming,
center.
but-
Yeah, so would that event like pop up if I'm investigating Spray, would the fact that like a mid-level dealer like that got arrested
It
ping on my
would.
radar?
It would if there was a record of it.
Ah.
Whoa.
Okay. I'm
So-
not gonna say because I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So, unless anyone wants to do anything. So, I have a question. Do the surgery rooms I do surgeries in, do they have cameras?
Yeah.
Can I look at the cameras from the night of the surgery?
You can ask to look at them. Normally, this never happens. Like, doctors almost never pay attention to this because it only comes up if there's an inquest.
Okay.
Like, there's a department that handles security and tapes and stuff like that. They store all their records. But,
Yeah, mostly for insurance stuff.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the actual doctors, like, don't even pay them any mind anymore.
I would like to request access to that footage, though, if possible. If I could just see it.
It's mostly regular.
Oh, sorry. I want to be a better doctor. I want to understand what happened there.
You're handed a pile of paperwork.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll sign it all.
All right. So, basically, you fill all this paperwork and they tell you, like, we'll get something to you on Monday.
Oh, come on. All right, sure.
It's Saturday.
I know.
Like,
I know.
plus, the people who work in this department, they hate you guys. Like, you make their lives terrible. They despise you people.
Yeah, well.
Especially surgeons. The surgeons are the worst because you guys think you're gods.
But I'm way too arrogant to realize that, so.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
So
just
they-
going to sit here and try to make jokes with the guy for a few minutes.
Yeah, he's just so excited that he can make you wait till Monday.
Okay.
There's going to be a guy here on Monday who can help you. I'm just the weekend dude.
Right.
You show up at work on Saturday morning, and as usual, there are very, very few people here. You're just at work on Saturday morning because you're so often not at work that you have to work weekends because your schedule is erratic. Luckily for you, you kind of don't even realize it's Saturday morning. Like, a lot of times, basically, your days are like, I go to the hospital, sometimes I go to work.
Yeah. Ever since the coma and the divorce, the boss has been giving me a lot of slack lately. I've also requested to be demoted. I was the head of drug development, but now I'm just a lab jockey.
That was really easy. It was almost like
Yeah.
he was like breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't have to actually demote you himself.
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
who's responsible for
Can't take
the blood brain killer drug.
Well, I don't know if they know that.
Well, you kind of have them over a barrel a bit, don't you? Because,
Well, that's true.
I don't know if you realize that.
yeah.
So from the company's perspective, they know that it's been stolen, but they don't know what it's been used for.
Okay.
And I know it's been stolen because I went and looked it up.
You don't have proof that it's been stolen.
It's just that it's missing from the storage locker.
There are a couple things you should note. Number one is that during the internal investigation, you were thoroughly questioned as well, along with a whole bunch of other people. Because of your level of access, you definitely got the impression that they were kind of seriously thinking that you were the one who stole it. Because you had
Stole
the
your own
most
drug.
motive and opportunity.
Yeah.
In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that your own son fell victim, they were almost certainly like really seriously pursuing the path that you might be somehow involved. You definitely get the feeling, or you had the feeling at some point, that they still were suspicious of this route. One of the things that made it very easy for them to demote you wasn't just because they were trying to get you out of the loop of things, but your demotion also comes with a lowered clearance, so you have less access than you did before, which also seemed to make a lot of other people happy.
Do you have life insurance on your son?
Probably,
must.
yeah.
You're the killer.
So, is color spray something you can synthesize at home if you bought the right materials, or do you need access to a lab?
Are you gonna,
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
gonna be Walter
Because you could be using the purchases. You could be looking out for people purchasing components.
I'd say it's more of I'd say it's more of a technical thing. You can't just grab some NyQuil.
right.
It's
That
just
is true.
Sudafed and food color.
So you are a scientist, and the way you track this down was you found the hallmarks of some of the
Fruity Pebbles.
basically designer chemical signatures of your design in color spray.
Mhm.
It's not the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But as a scientist, you also know that because of how amazingly ubiquitous both computers and like high level equipment is today, especially because of the genome revolution, it's amazing what lay people can do with money and just a very small amount of like interesting resources. Like things that would have taken like gigantic labs in the past can be done by people in their garages over the course of a few months.
Okay.
They would have some trouble. It would be imperfect. There might be some data issues. But the reality is that because of the way things are these days, except in the most rare of circumstances, once information is out there, lay people can try to figure it out.
Okay. But I'm at work. It's a Saturday, so it's a slow day. Not a lot of people here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the minimum amount of work necessary for my normal job stuff. And then the rest of the time, I'm going to be working to try and figure out how they're synthesizing color spray from my work.
Why don't you roll your
Chemistry.
and in fact make 3 chemistry rolls.
Ooh, 3 rolls. Okay. First, fail, 86 over 80. Second, succeed, 33 under 80.
Okay.
And the third is success with 60 under 80.
Okay, so the presupposition is that ever since your son has fallen victim, you've been trying to figure things out. Like you keep thinking, okay, Alzheimer's is a type of degradation that is not too unlike this coma situation. And you're thinking, if you could somehow get the original drug perfected or figure out how color spray works and interacts with the brain, you might find something. And you've been doing this for like months. Like basically, it's actually both ironic and troubling because on the one hand, there's a vengeance on your shoulder that you can't seem to shake. But then every time you're doing this, there's a part of you that like gets mad at yourself because you figured if you had not been on the streets doing vigilante justice, you probably would have found the answer by now. But you'll work on this and you'll hit a wall and you get mad and you go out into the streets and you waste time and then you'll feel better and then you go see your son and then you feel like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 2 days. I could have been doing research. But you feel like you're on the verge of figuring something out. And one of the things that's very interesting is that your original plan was that the drug would repair compromised neurons. It would like scrub out plaques. It would like enhance like connections, axial firing and things like that. And that was kind of the original plan. It was kind of like a hyper upper type of thing with a chemical component that did scrubbing. You're getting the sense that color spray is a cracked version of this. That is so good that the reason it's so effective and why your drug originally failed was that it unlocked pathways that should never have occurred unless human evolution had advanced for years.
Oh no.
Like, you know, you've always heard that myth about how like we only use 10% of our brains and blah blah blah, and you know that's just a bunch of crap.
Mhm.
But if there was any truth to that model, you feel like one of the problems with your drug is that that's what it did. It like basically like overclocked people's brains, and that's why it was killing them. And the color spray has somehow figured a way to make it so that it actually has a real effect, but still is killing them. But after they've had some excitement beforehand.
It's like the limitless pill, basically,
Yeah, and-
and you die after.
Yeah. That makes sense why it worked on mice, because it was like smaller brains, not as much things to reconnect.
Yep.
But as soon as it went up to people, it was too much for them to handle. Oh my god.
You also have the impression that you're
too much
kind
for
of
me to
maybe
handle
on the
right now.
verge of figuring out what was wrong with it and how you could fix it.
Can you solve cancer while you're at it too?
You stand on the landing of a door. All you have to do is just push it open.
You can see things no man has seen before. Go places no one has gone.
Is this what the intent of color spray is? Could it have been they saw the potential in my drug and their test subjects are the poor people of the city? I must find out more.
Spicy.
I must see what they desire to make.
You've heard of these experiments, and you've heard there are people who are not beyond doing this.
I must try and make this drug what it's supposed to be. Maybe this time I'll do it right.
What's the
What?
equivalent of insight in this game?
Insight?
Idea.
Idea?
Make an idea roll.
Probably idea, yeah.
Fail. 77 over 60.
60.
Yeah, my ends is only 12.
Ooh,
I have a
boy.
lot of education. I'm not smart.
That's why it didn't work.
Yeah.
A good distinction.
Wait, where's idea?
It's
Idea.
5 times your intellect.
Yeah.
But it's also up right by intellect and character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Characteristic indicators.
It's the default for when the GM goes, oh, here's a situation where something might occur to you.
I have
Yeah.
I have an idea. To take color spray myself? No.
That's not a good idea.
Oh, the classic trope. Except, like, color spray is super deadly.
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever
no,
version
no,
is on the
no,
street right now
no,
has
no,
killed everyone
street.
except for one person.
Street
my
spray?
Oh, you don't know this, by the way. You've been doing this research long enough as well that you know your son is the only one who survived.
Oh my goodness.
You kill yourself in
I
the
didn't
first
think
session.
We must have a
Wow,
resistance to it.
Ooh, oh,
Suicide
oh, maybe that means your genetic profile.
Is
And
the
your
key.
son only has half of your genetic profile.
Maybe that means I'm immune and won't get into a coma.
You know who the future of the human race is? Alexa.
Alexa.
Perfect.
Maybe Alexa was the one that has the
That's true.
immunity.
He only has half of your genes and half of hers.
Mhm,
The question is, which half was the one that kept him alive?
I'm
Well-
full.
Alexa also has Alzheimer's.
Wait,
Well,
Alexa's
I'm not going to
your
bring it up to a coin flip. So
Yeah, but your
I'm going to
spouse
continue
is-
work in the lab. I feel like I'm on the brink of a breakthrough, so I'm not. I haven't hit that wall in which I need to unsheath my blade.
All right.
I don't even
So
have
I'll
time to
continue doing
Look how
some
soft.
experiments.
And then look
Excellent.
how
With,
complete.
Hale, do you work on Saturdays?
I'm gonna give it a 2/3 chance that I do.
All right.
Your work never ends.
No, I'm not working this Saturday.
Thank goodness, because you are exhausted. It's not been a good week. Yeah, there's a lot of you had your job and you had to tail this guy, and then in fact you were starting to
Yeah,
worry that
because once I start seeing things,
Yeah.
that's usually a good sign that maybe I should get some rest.
you're
It's been a
starting to
few
worry
days.
that you're losing your touch.
Oh yeah.
So do you have a vice? Hey,
Mur-
hey, no,
murdering.
yeah. Are you the kind of person who's super focused and you just go home and sleep, or do you drink, or do you shoot up? Do you have anything that you do to kind of
Do you take
compensate for the
college
fact
break?
that you have to
Do-
keep
yeah.
staying up so much?
Do you spray?
He'd be dead.
I probably do some amount of cocaine.
Okay.
Right?
Whoa.
Whoa! You know, anywhere from a bump to a
Look,
line.
I figure if you're like
We're just gonna send
like
that shark right off the
manically
ramp.
staying up like all
Yeah.
hours of the night.
Are you just doing like
You just need some kind of like crazy energy.
Are you
So
just
then
doing like
you
speed
get home, you like
bones?
pop a bunch of sleeping pills to calm down.
Are you just doing?
No, it's just like I'm going out tonight. Like do a line,
Yeah.
go.
Do you just
Okay.
speedball?
No.
So do you come
It's-
home and crash, or do you just like
Talk about a
are
good
you
way to
hyper most of the day? Like
I
do you
mean,
have these
yeah.
like 12 to 15 hour times where you're just
No.
down? Like are you out all day today? If you don't have to
Probably.
work? Okay.
I end up like all of my sleep debt at once, like on one day in the week.
Perfect.
James,
Oh,
why do you
I-
have those dice out?
Just in case.
Just in case things get
The
weird.
D30.
Yeah, the D30.
What's
the
your
D7.
sanity?
My sanity is 55.
Oh, give me a sanity roll.
D30.
Sanity. Oh man.
Nightmares.
72 is over 55.
Oh! What?
72 is too high.
Oh! All right.
High. You got too high.
You have an awesome nightmare.
You've
Sounds about right.
We've already had more
Great
sanity rolls this
juxtaposition.
session than any other Call of Cthulhu game.
So I have to tell you,
I think
did
that's
you-
Great, great.
preparing for this
Good.
game, my first thing that I remind myself is
More
like, oh, I
sanity
did not
rolls.
do nearly enough sanity
Yeah.
rolls in the
Yeah.
last two games.
I want to go
It doesn't-
crazy.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, so I
The
said
guy
I'm
with
gonna
the
do more
weapons
sanity.
go crazy.
Also, the other thing is that if it hasn't become apparent already, in this game, the Michael stuff happens right away. Like, it's
Yeah.
a key factor. Whereas in other games, you were searching for something. In this game, the things are searching for you. So, it's-
Cool. I'm excited for that to come up more.
Yes. So, you have a terrible nightmare. You are dreaming or nightmaring about killing Eddie. Except this time, the whole thing happens in this kind of like gray alternative world where everything is the same, but it looks more gray and scary. It's like those weird like horror movie things where it's
The
like
upside
oh,
down.
yeah, exactly. Like the trees are more gross, the walls are ancient. Eddie is there, but he like looks like a sluggish version of him, and you like the whole scene plays out. You see him walking down the street. You see him going into the shadowy area, like just out of the street lights. You pull your gun. You put in your silencer. You pull the trigger. You see the bullet going through his head. You see him falling. Then you turn, and as his body is dropping, you put the bullet in his chest. And you can see that just as you're pulling the trigger, you can see the shadow of the corner of your eye. And every time you just look to your peripheral vision to look at the shadow, you can see as your head is turning that your bullet is just off. And you can see the moment where the shot did not pierce his heart. And that scene just plays again over and over throughout this entire period of rest. And every single time, there's a small variant. Like every single time you notice something slightly different. Like you feel like you could just glimpse the face of the figure. Or you feel like that the tree had like an extra branch on it. Or you see like the wall behind him looks different than the last time. Like there's graffiti that wasn't there before. And you keep playing through this and it just goes over and over and over again. But like in most dreams, you don't notice time passing. Like it just seems like you're having a dream, horrible things. And then you wake up in a sweat because the final time you actually see the face of the shadowy figure, and it's like this long horse-like face that like looks more equine than human, and it's got like these long kind of oval eyes, like someone took a human face and stretched it out like an extra 6 inches. And
Like the
you
screen.
catch one glimpse of it and you wake up in a cold sweat, and it's like 11 at night. Like you've been sleeping for at least 12 to 15 hours.
You had a nightmare that you couldn't kill even more people. I tried so hard to kill that one guy, and it didn't happen. I'm sorry.
Long face, I will impress you.
I will bring that man to justice.
Yeah, and
His crime.
How dare you distract me, long face?
yep.
Why the
I
And
get a message.
Why?
Look out for long face man.
the interesting thing is that when you get out, so you know, nightmares are usually pretty disturbing. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is really horrible. I'm just keep being reminded of my failure, blah blah blah. But the one thing you can't shake is that somehow despite the fact that you wake up with this sense of foreboding,
Mhm.
you couldn't help but feel that the shadowy figure was kind of just being approving of your actions. Like you almost got the sense of like this is like kind of a father going, "Oh yeah,
So like a hint of a smile.
yeah." And like there's not a facial feature for you to identify that looks like a smile. But you get this sort of sense it's like, "Oh yeah, if I had a dad who cared about my life and I had just like been throwing the ball around and threw my first good curveball, this is kind of sense I would get from a father figure who felt like, yeah, good job, you're really getting there."
There's a non-Euclidean smile.
Oh,
And that's how I cope with that feeling.
You're also starving. Like,
okay.
you haven't eaten in like 24 hours.
I break open one of my can of like food that I have. 'Cause-
Like a can of beans.
yeah,
Oh,
no, I
okay,
just have like a big stockpile of food that's like military-esque.
Right,
Like I don't want to spend
MREs.
any time cooking. Like this is just.
Oh, you don't
for
supposed to eat beans
sustenance.
right out of the can?
No, but like
you don't trust the government to give you food that you're willing.
it's all
you're
just like
no veggies.
like canned soup
Only
or
got a
something.
can.
That I'm just
Gotta
like
be
Do you
stuffing down.
do you just have like a bunch of MREs?
No, I'm not that crazy.
All right.
Those things are awful.
Yeah, they are.
Also, civilians can't just randomly buy tons of MREs.
I
Right?
thought you could buy them from like military surplus.
I see them
Yeah,
at surplus
surplus
places,
works.
but they're always like just like some.
Yeah.
It's
like,
not cost
they're
effective.
novelty things. It's like
Yeah.
space ice cream.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
buy like it's like I'll take all your MREs. I'm pretty sure if you ever go into one of those places and order all the MREs, they call the government and put your name on the list.
Really?
Yeah, because those things are so full of chemicals.
Those lists are easy to get on though.
Yeah, that's true. It's like
I'm
this guy
probably
just
one
bought
of
100 MREs. It's like put his name on the list.
Let's make it color
In
spray.
real life.
Yeah, it turns out color
I
spray is
definitely
just
have.
made
Yeah.
from all the sticks of gum in MREs. Like, been in there for
Turns out being
years.
a Linux kernel
Changed chemically.
programmer.